And how was your weekend? Mine could have been a little bit better, especially when it comes to football at the college level and the professional level. Uh, let's start with the college level. I am so disappointed in my Wisconsin Badgers. I keep hoping that they're going to break out of the slump that they're in, and they're not doing it. Matter of fact, it got so bad this past weekend that on Sunday they fired head coach Paul Chryst. And I didn't think that would ever happen because Coach Chryst has always been one of those guys that you'd expect to have this great comeback win, even when they're behind going into the fourth quarter. But they let him go, and that's for obvious reasons they had to. His team was not cohesive. They didn't play like they were motivated. So I just don't get it. But now we're going to find out who the new coach is going to be. Also, coaches that fell this season: Scott Frost from Nebraska, Herm Edwards from Arizona State, Jeff Collins, Georgia Tech, and Carl Darnell from Colorado. And of course, now we're going to add Paul Chryst from Wisconsin to that long list. The bad part is, he's a cheesehead. He was born and raised in Madison. He even spent his childhood just a few blocks from Camp Randall. And for him to be the coach, there had to be in Wisconsin, had to be just the ultimate coaching position he could ever have in his life. But he just seemed to have lost control. His players, when the players quit playing for you, nothing you can do as a head coach, but maybe move on, find something else a little bit more conducive to what you want, your style of play and what you want to bring to the game. But it's really sad that Chryst is gone because I really liked him. And hopefully Wisconsin's not going to regret it and they get somebody in there soon. Right now, I don't know who's out there who could come in and do the job that Paul Chryst did. Paul Chryst did an awesome job for a while, but it just seems like the last couple of years he's really let us down as fans. But it probably won't bother anybody more than it will him that his team's losing. They got some good players, but it just seemed like they're in such a disarray when they take to the field right now, and I can't figure it out. Just can't figure it out. I've watched Colorado games, and I've always, of course, I lived in Colorado before moving down here to Arizona. I lived in Colorado for 40 plus years. And I have a lot of ties to a lot of people up there. Yeah. I do enjoy watching Colorado football. Colorado State football, I think sometimes is more exciting than Colorado football. But I also like the Broncos. So my weekend, with the Broncos losing, the Badgers losing, is there a bright spot? There is, because the Packers won. And that actually was a pretty good game. Aaron Rodgers, I don't know what's going on with this guy. Although I've been saying this for years, he doesn't seem to wake up until he's behind, point-wise. You come up there, he's all hype. Yeah, he does a high five, smiles, pretty for the ladies. But guess what? When he takes the field in the first quarter, it's like he's lost. Or he just lacks initiative and motivation. Yeah, he does enough to get by that first quarter, even the first half. But when he gets behind in the fourth quarter, you can't always expect him to come through. Don't get me wrong. It's not just him. He does not make the team. All players come together, like in any sport, to make the team, to get the win, to take the loss. Well, Roger, he's the main man. And if he's having a bad day, guess what? Everybody else is. Fortunately, they were able to come away with a win yesterday in Green Bay. But, they had to be careful because they had a young kid, rookie, come in there and do one hell of a good job. I'm talking about Bailey Zappi. After two of the quarterbacks for New England were taken out or unable to play, one was taken out yesterday in the game. Shortly after it started, young Bailey Zappi stepped right in. And we're thinking, well, he's a rookie. Yeah, he's got good credentials from college ball. But this is his first game. He took his first snap yesterday. He did it on their fire. He did it at Lambeau. Nobody goes in there at Lambeau and can expect to win except the Packers. Expect to do well against the Packers. That's just not the way. It's not the way it rolls. And this kid, he came in there, and I was impressed with his play. He had a chance to pull that thing out. And truthfully, if he'd have won that game and the Packers lost, I still would be patting that young man on the back. Because he got him into overtime. And Patriots had a chance to win it in overtime because they stopped Rodgers right away. Rodgers 3-and-out in overtime. It's like, come on. Quit going for the long ball all the time. I don't know who's calling these plays, but it seems like you get into that fourth quarter, you get behind, and all you want to do is go long, go long, go long. Well, I always believe that if you want 10 yard, 10 yard, 10 yards, you can have the same results. You're going to eat up. You're going to eat up a lot of that clock that way, true. But, unless you can catch Tanyan like you did yesterday in the end zone, things just aren't going to work out for you. You have a better chance, of course, of being intercepted. And he was actually intercepted yesterday, he being Aaron Rodgers. When you throw the long balls. His receivers, you don't have Davante Adams anymore. Davante Adams. He's gone. He's playing with the Raiders. So what are you going to do? Are you going to pick on Watson, new guy? Looked pretty good, didn't he? For a tight end, he looked pretty good. Man. Packers, you got to be careful. Yeah, you got 3 wins and only 1 loss. But unless you get a little bit more depth in that game, you inspire Rodgers just a little more. Who knows what's going to happen? The reason I'm even talking about this so much, because I have a lot of Packers on my fantasy team. And of course, I'm a Packer fan. I'm a native, Green Bay. Actually, I'm a native of Wisconsin. But everybody, when you tell them, you tell people you're from Wisconsin, oh, Green Bay. No. I grew up in South Milwaukee in Bayview, which is 140 miles away from Green Bay. But yeah, the whole state's green and gold. Don't let anybody kid you. So I watch that team and that's still my team. I bleed green and gold. Yeah, the Broncos. What is going on with the Broncos? Russell Wilson. Who happens to be of Wisconsin? Russell Wilson was a great quarterback for University of Wisconsin in his day. When he went to Seattle, I was kind of torn. I wish Packers would have picked him up, right? Natural. Well, guess what? You went to Seattle. You did very well in Seattle. Well, Denver needed a new quarterback because, well, they need a new old quarterback because that's all we get is old quarterbacks. We needed somebody who can step right, come right in, step up, win some games, be a team leader. I'm waiting. I'll see you, Jay. Come on, Russell Wilson. You're not the guy I saw play in Wisconsin. You're not the guy I saw play in Seattle. What is it? Is the altitude getting to you? Can't figure it out. But you're going to have to do a lot better. You're not stepping into the pocket. You're not getting out of the pocket. I'm not sure what you're doing. Thankfully, I don't get to watch all the Brown games living in Arizona. I get to see every Cardinals game. However, I'm not a Cardinals fan. Even though I live here, I think they have a good team. They could even have a great team. They're probably going to make the playoffs. I hope they do. It'll be exciting here because we're going to have the Super Bowl here too. So if that would be a story. But the Broncos just seem to be a lackluster team that feels like they could be great, but will be lucky to break 500. That's the thing. Russell was brought in to be that 500 team player, maker, playmaker, quarterback, franchise quarterback. Ain't going to happen. I don't know what they're going to do next year. The Broncos have new owners, new coaches. The coach that they have now used to coach in Wisconsin, Green Bay. Duh, I think he'd learn something. Right now, it doesn't look like it. But I will say they went up against Belichick yesterday. I don't know how many of you were watching that game, but Bill Belichick was quite animated on the sidelines the whole game. I don't know what's going on with these professional people that can whip off their headsets and throw them on the ground or take their little iPads or whatever they use and throw them on the ground and break this stuff. Come on. What is that saying to the kids? That's not very professional. It's kind of fun, though, to watch Bill Belichick get animated. There was a couple calls in there that were subjected. This is true. However, there was also a play in there where the clock ran out. The play clock got down to 0 and even turned over to 40 before the quarterback could even throw the ball. Didn't throw the flag on that one. It's not Belichick's fault. That is on the referees right there. It's on the refs. I should have called that. And what happened, the result of that miss was a touchdown pass by Billy Zappi, putting New England ahead. Had that not happened, had that been called, yeah, maybe he'd have got it on the next throw. Who knows? But that was a gimme like I've never seen. But Belichick, yeah, he was jumping up and down on the sidelines. And, I hate to see that from a grown man at such a high level of play. But that's the way it is. So what else are we going to have going on this weekend? Well, I went on a real nice motorcycle ride with my friends. My friends being the Roadrunner chapter, hog chapter from Goodyear, Arizona. We do ride every weekend throughout the whole year. Not just the winter months or the summer months. We ride year-round down here. Of course, in the summertime, when the temperature gets to be around 117, 115. We kind of plan our rides in the morning, like leave the house at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. Go find a real nice breakfast place, breakfast stop, get in a little ride maybe, and then get home before it heats up. But that only lasts about 3 months. After that, we have our breakfast rides, we have our lunch rides, we have our dinner rides. We just do a lot of riding. And this past weekend, my buddy Goose and I, we met the group and formed up the ride and took them all to a place called Phil's Filling Station in Fountain Hills, Arizona. Beautiful place. Beautiful ride getting there. Very little interstate. If I can stay off the interstate, I'm one happy guy. But if I have to ride the interstate a long ways, it's not that I just don't like all the traffic. If I'm doing the speed limit, I'm too slow. If I'm doing 5 over, I'm still too slow. If you ever want an experience of riding through crazy traffic, it's got to be Interstate 10 right through Phoenix. Try it sometime. There's about 6 lanes on each side, going east and going west, and they're all crazy. You could be in the middle lane doing 80 miles an hour. Of course, it's all 65 and 55, but you'd be doing 80 miles an hour. And some guy's going to run you over. It's like, come on, people, slow down. But that's one of the reasons I don't care to ride interstates, because it seems like nobody wants to follow a 18-wheeler and nobody wants to follow a motorcycle. So what they do, they put everybody in harm's way. But this past weekend, yeah, we had a good ride. No interstate. We had a state highway 303, which is almost like an interstate. They still do 90 miles an hour, and I'll be doing 5 over. Be clipping along at 65 and 70, and eat my dust. They usually eat their dust in a few rocks too. Anyways, had a real nice ride. Went through this part of the Sonoran Desert, which happens to be one of my favorite rides. I think it's 9 miles long, and takes us over to Cave Creek area. And then from Cave Creek, we just take this Dynamite Road, which is actually the name of the road, and take it over to Fountain Hills. Beautiful city. Landscape is littered with multi-million-dollar homes. Yeah. And the big thing about Fountain Hills is they have a lake right in the middle of town. That's right, with a fountain in it. Wow. Looks like the old faithful, because it erupts every hour on the hour for 10 minutes or something. I don't know. Yeah. That's a fun ride. But the place we went to is Phil's Filling Station. If you're in the neighborhood of Fountain Hills, check them out. Excellent breakfast. Excellent food, period. The waitresses were awesome. And they have not only a seating area, cafe style, but they also have a bar in there, littered with sports TVs. Yeah. Be a good place to go and hang out, have a burger and a beer on a Sunday afternoon and watch games. But we kind of like the ambiance of this place because it takes us back into the 50s. Yeah, I ride with a bunch of old guys, all right? We enjoy the 50s, miss the 50s, 50s and 60s. Yeah, but that's the ambiance. The walls are littered with pictures of old cars and old motorcycles and old people. Of course, old people now, they were young people back then. But it's a good place to go. Excellent food. Excellent food. And it's priced just like everybody else. It's not, they're not there to rip you off. So, again, that's Phil's Filling Station in Fountain Hills, Arizona. So, what do I have coming up on the docket? This week is going to be a fun week for me. I've got a couple of things to do, newsletter to put out and some articles to write, and of course, my Monday morning show. And I hope you guys will come back and catch the next show as well. I'll try to keep up with current news. However, I'm going to try not to do politics because my buddy Hoss and I, we already touched on that on one of our shows together. So expect something different from me. It might be a little humor, it might not. Just to let you know, I am a veteran, Vietnam veteran, compliments of the United States Air Force way back when. So from time to time, I'll be talking about veteran things. And I kind of like that. I belong to quite a few veterans groups and organizations. And yeah, they're my homeboys. So anyways, tune in every now and then. We appreciate it. Root for the Badgers and sorry Broncos, because we know the Packers are going to take care of business. These guys, we're only pray for them. Till next week. Adios, my friends.